I was ready to give up. Nothing in my life felt good. I had no money, no job, and no reason to smile. Every morning felt like a punishment. But one simple smile from a stranger changed everything. And that small moment showed me the true power of positivity. My name is Alex. I used to believe life was unfair, that good things only happened to lucky people. I was not one of them. I lived in a small, dark apartment above a noisy street. Every night, a bright neon sign blinked outside my window. It said, "Open 24/7, like life never stopped. But I felt stuck, like I was frozen while the world kept moving. My job was in a packaging factory. I packed boxes for 10 hours a day. My back hurt, my feet hurt, and my heart, it felt empty. Every morning, I took the same train. Same people, same silence. No one smiled. No one looked up. It was like we were ghosts, just trying to survive. Then one morning, something strange happened. I saw a woman standing near the train pillar. She had curly hair, a brown coat, and closed eyes. But she was smiling, just smiling to herself, like she had a beautiful secret. She opened her eyes and looked at me. I quickly turned away. But before I looked down, she smiled at me. It was warm, kind, real. The train came. We both got on. I didn't say anything. But all day, I kept thinking about that smile. The next day, she was there again. Same place, same smile. This time, I smiled back. It felt strange. My face wasn't used to it. But it also felt nice. A few days later, she said, "Good morning." I was surprised. No one talks in the morning train. Good morning," I said. She looked at me kindly. "Rough day?" "Just started." I joked. She nodded. "Exactly. You get to decide how it goes." That sentence stuck in my mind all day. I thought about it when my boss shouted. I thought about it when my lunch was cold. And somehow it made those things feel smaller. Her name was Lila. She was a music teacher. She said she believed in the power of mindset. I told her I didn't believe in that stuff. She smiled again. You don't have to believe in gravity for it to pull you down. Same with negativity. It works even if you don't notice. But so does hope. Weeks passed. I looked forward to seeing Lila every morning. Just 5 minutes with her made my day better. I started noticing good things. The old man who fed birds at the park. The kid who helped his mom carry bags. The way sunlight hit the train window. But one Friday, everything crashed. My manager called me into his office. "We have to let you go." I felt cold. "Why?" "It's not personal. The company is downsizing." I packed my things in silence. No job, no savings, rent due in 10 days. That night, I couldn't sleep. I just stared at the blinking sign outside. Open 24/7. I felt like life was laughing at me. The next morning, I didn't go to the train, but I went to the park, and there she was, Lila, playing violin under a tree. Her eyes were closed. Her music was soft and full of feeling. When she stopped, I walked up to her. "I lost my job," I said. She looked at me for a second, then hugged me. No words, just warmth. "What do you really want to do?" she asked. I laughed. "I can't afford to dream." "You can't afford not to." Lila took me to a community center. They had free workshops. One was a writing class. I joined just to feel busy. One day the teacher said, "Write about the hardest thing you survived." I wrote about losing my job, about meeting Lila, about her smile. I read it to the class. When I finished, no one spoke for a moment. Then people clapped. "You should share this," the teacher said. We sent it to an online magazine. 2 weeks later, I got an email. They wanted to publish it, and they would pay me. That one story, just a few honest words from my heart, changed the direction of my entire life. I didn't know it then, but something powerful had started. A spark had lit inside me. For the first time in years, I had found a voice, and people were listening. I started writing more. I wrote during the quiet mornings and late into the night. I wrote about the pain I had lived through, about the tiny pieces of hope I had held on to, and about the slow, painful path toward healing. I wrote articles. I wrote essays. I wrote true stories that came straight from my soul. Stories about loneliness, about kindness, about finding light in the darkest places. Slowly, opportunities began to appear. I found small freelance jobs online, writing for blogs, magazines, even newsletters. The pay wasn't much at first, but it was something, enough to keep going, enough to believe. I built a simple website and shared my writing there, one post at a time. And somehow, word began to spread. Strangers started messaging me. Some just left a heart emoji. Others wrote long, tearful messages like, "Thank you for writing this. I thought I was the only one." Or, "After reading your story, I feel less alone." Each message felt like a candle being lit in a dark room. One by one, I saw how my words could touch hearts, and it gave me strength. I moved out of that cold, dim apartment and found a new place. Not very big, but had sunlight in the mornings and quiet in the evenings. It felt like a fresh start. I bought a wooden desk, my first real desk. Nothing fancy, but to me it was a sign, a promise. I was building something of my own now, a life, a future, a purpose. And through it all, every morning like always, I still met Lila at the train station. We'd exchange smiles. Some days we'd talk. Some days we'd just stand in silence. But her presence was still a part of my rhythm, my anchor, until one morning she wasn't there. At first, I thought she might just be running late, but she wasn't there the next day either, or the day after that. By the end of the week, I was worried. Something didn't feel right. I dialed the number she once gave me, my hand shaking slightly, but it rang and rang. No answer. I went to the park where she used to play her violin. Empty. I visited the community center where she volunteered. They hadn't seen her either. And then 1 week later, I got a letter in the mail. It had no return address. Just my name, Alex, written in handwriting I recognized immediately. "Dear Alex, if you are reading this, then I've already gone. Not forever, but I had to step away. There's something I never told you. I've been sick. Cancer. It's been a quiet battle. One I didn't want to speak about because I didn't want to cast a shadow on your light. You were blooming. I saw it. Every day, you grew stronger, more alive, more you. And I couldn't risk being the reason you slowed down or doubted yourself again. But now it's your turn. Keep smiling at strangers. Keep writing your truth. Keep sharing what you've learned and what you're still learning. Keep choosing hope. Remember what I told you. You get to decide how it goes. With all my heart, Lila, tears. And when I finally let go, I broke. I cried harder than I had in years. Not just because she was gone, but because I realized the weight she had carried while still offering her light so freely to others. To me, all that time, she was silently fighting a storm inside her, yet she still smiled, still gave, still believed. She chose love when she had every reason to feel fear. She chose hope when she knew time was running out. She chose to lift me up without ever asking for anything in return. That letter became my next story. I published it. It spread across the internet like wildfire. Thousands, no, tens of thousands, read it. People shared it, commented. Some left messages like, "This made me cry." I needed this today. Others wrote, Lila sounds like someone I wish I had known. I was overwhelmed, but I also knew exactly what I had to do. I started visiting schools, shelters, and community centers. I stood on small stages, behind wobbly microphones, and told people about Lila. I told them about a stranger who smiled at me every morning and changed my entire life. I told them about how one kind soul, just one, can shift the direction of someone's path, sometimes forever. And every time I finished speaking, I saw something familiar in the crowd. Eyes softening, shoulders relaxing, people holding on to each other a little tighter. And I would say, positivity isn't pretending that life is perfect. It's knowing it's not, and still choosing to show up, still choosing to try, still choosing light. Because that's what Lila taught me. Every single day, I carry her words in my heart. You get to decide how it goes. And today, like every day since I met her, I choose light. Sometimes I still walk to that same train station, just like I did back then. I stand on the platform in the early morning light and watch people rushing past. Faces half asleep, headphones in, eyes on their phones. And once in a while, I spot someone who looks like they're carrying the kind of sadness I used to wear. I smile at them, softly, the way Lila once smiled at me. Most people don't notice, but some do. Some lift their eyes and smile back, just for a second, and I realize something. That one small moment, that one connection, could be the beginning of someone else's story, just like mine, just like hers. A simple smile can say, "You're not invisible. I see you. You matter." That's what Lila gave me. That's what I try to give others now. Grief doesn't disappear. I still miss her, especially on quiet days when the world feels heavy. But instead of letting that pain drown me, I let it guide me. I write about her. I talk about her. I live in a way that honors her spirit. Because Lila didn't just teach me how to survive. She taught me how to live with purpose. She showed me that light isn't something you have to be born with. It's something you choose, even on the worst days, especially on the worst days. The truth is, Lila was more than a friend or a mentor. She was a mirror, showing me the kind of person I could be if I just stopped running from myself. And now, I run towards something better. The world still has darkness. It always will. There are people suffering in silence, feeling forgotten, carrying invisible weights no one else can see. But I believe, deep in my bones, that kindness, even the smallest kind, still is power. A smile, a kind word, a story told with honesty. These things don't fix everything, but they start something. They make people feel seen. They make people feel less alone. And when people stop feeling alone, they start to believe again. They start to heal. Maybe even write their own stories, just like I did. That's what positivity really means. It's not fake happiness. It's not pretending everything's okay. It's choosing to keep moving forward, even when you're scared. It's holding on to hope when everything inside you wants to let go. So, if you're reading this now, and you're standing at your own crossroads, lost, broken, unsure what comes next, let me say this. You have more light in you than you know. And you don't need anyone's permission to share it. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to choose to keep going, to keep trying, to smile at strangers, to tell your story. You get to decide how it goes. You always have. And no matter how dark the world may seem, there's always one more step you can take toward the light. I know because I've lived it. And today, just like every day since Lila left me her letter, I choose light. I choose to believe, and I choose to pass it on.